Austraeoh by Imploding Colon, read by Deathlight, Chapter 151, Skeleton. Rainbow crossed the ravine in a span of a minute. Her hooves touched down effortlessly, just like with any other piece of earth. She stood on the east edge, flexing her wings. With squinting eyes, she paced along the cliff face. Her hooves made tiny scraping sounds that echoed into the upper air of the chasm yawning below. Through her peripheral vision, she saw the wooden platforms of Cocander's and Desert Light's outpost, lingering just like dusty shelves on the far side. To the extreme north and south, she could make out tiny specks that marked where the neighboring Darkstenian guard posts reside. Try as she might, Rainbow couldn't find any remains of an earth pony. Undaunted, she pressed forward, covering every inch of the cliffside that the elder unicorn pointed at. With every progressive minute that passed by, she began wondering if a heavy wind had gone by with the remains of the equine. After 10 years, it'd be foolish to expect anything to be waiting for her. Rainbow found a bush laying in her way. With a side step, she walked around the vegetation, but suddenly paused. Curious, she turned and knelt down, squatting up close to the shrubbery. Something wasn't quite right about it. Murmuring under her breath, she opened her saddlebag and pulled out her hatchet. Clenching the blade's handle tightly in her teeth, she hacked and slashed away at the thorny branches of the dry thickets. Slowly, like scraping paint off a picture, a decimal shape started to form. Halfway through the task, she hissed through her teeth, almost spitting the hatchet out. A pony's jaw was yawning towards her, frozen in anguish and starvation. A flakes of skin had long eroded off the calcified remains of the equine. There's a leather slab bound tightly against the rib cage, the remains of a saddlebag perhaps. It appears as though, over the past 10 years, a cluster of brushes had grown through the discarded bones of the ill-fated figure. Rainbow had no doubt what the soil received for its nutrients. With a solemn breath, she slid the hatchet back into her bag and examined the partially uncovered skeleton closer. She reached a hoof in and pawed at the leather scrap. A few sparse belongings rattled out, disturbed for the first time in years. Rainbow was careful to scoop the items closer to her, so they wouldn't blow away in the wind into the deep chasm. She saw a knife, several lengths of twine, scraps of paper, perhaps the remains of a journal, and a silver medallion. Curious, Rainbow raised the medallion between two nimble wingtips. Her eyes narrowed on the sight. On one side of the coin displayed two giant palaces of ornate architecture, raising atop a pair of tall mesas in the middle of a valley. She flipped the coin over. The other side held a symbol that she didn't recognize. It resembled a circle of two concave lines sandwiching the sphere in the opposite sides. She couldn't understand the lettering housed inside. There was a gritty layer of soot filling the grooves of the medallion, as if the object had been exposed to hot flames and dense smoke. Exhaling, Rainbow slid the contents back into what remained of the leather pouch. Curious, she looked down the length of the pony body and realized there was no remaining length. Her mouth opened in awe. The bottom half of the pony was missing, just below the upper structures of the rear legs. From what Rainbow could tell, the skeleton wasn't shattered or broken in any way. The furthest tips of the leg bones were oddly smooth, as if they were rounded nubs. Quite quizzically, glancing once again at the leather scrap, within which the soot-stained medallion lingered. Was he burned in half?